Hi, everyone. I'm Chaya Parkoff, licensed clinical social worker, trauma therapist, high performance coach, and speaker. And this is ParshaRx, mental health prescriptions from the weekly Torah portion. This week in Parshat Eikev, Moshe says, "And now, Israel, what does Hashem your God ask of you? Only leyirah Hashem your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul." What's with this word yirah? It's usually translated as fear. And for people who've lived much of their lives in fear, fear of people, fear of loss, fear of failure, that translation can feel like a cement wall between us and God. My own relationship with God started in a complicated place. My father died of cancer when I was a baby. How could there be a loving God running the world? Years later, when I was desperately struggling with an eating disorder and walked into my first 12-step meeting, I wasn't prepared for people talking about a power greater than yourself, talking about God. And I bolted out the door. I wanted recovery, but I wasn't looking for God, but I was desperate. So I went back. Soon after, a friend from the program took me to the Pacific Ocean. We were in Oregon at the time. We stood at the shore and she said, "Go and stop a wave." I was like, ha ha ha, I can't. She said, "Exactly. Power greater than yourself." Ocean wasn't the power, but what was powering that ocean? That moment cracked something open in me. As I became more engaged in Judaism, I opened my art scroll sitter and noticed fear of God, fear, 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 all over the English translation. My stomach would sink. I went to my rabbi, Rabbi R.A. Scheinberg of blessed memory from San Antonio, and said, "I've spent my whole life in fear. Now I have to fear God too." He smiled and said, "Mamala, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon? It's so magnificent. It's so incredible. It's so beautiful. You just want to run toward it and jump in. But it's also so magnificent, so incredible, so beautiful. You take a healthy step back from the edge. That's Yirah." And here's the thing, even standing there, you can't see the whole Grand Canyon at once. You can't take in every twist, every hidden crevice. That's life. We never see the full picture, but the Torah teaches us that God does. Yirah is living in that awe of truth. The Rambam, Maimonides, says awe comes from contemplating God's creation until you're filled with wonder and humility. The Ran calls this Yirat Romemut, awe of God's exaltedness, not yirat onesh, fear of punishment. I think of love and awe like the pedals in a car. Love is the gas. It moves you toward God, toward relationship, toward connection. Awe is the brake. It keeps you steady, respectful, and aware of who you're dealing with. We need both to drive well. And this message is perfectly timed. We're in the Sheva Denechemta, the 7 weeks of comfort after Tisha B'Av, when God says, "I'm here, be comforted." Elul is coming. The high holidays are on the horizon. These are weeks when God draws close and invites us to be curious and to lean in. But unless you were raised with an awareness of a loving God, the cards can feel stacked against you. Add painful life experiences, and trusting can seem unnecessary or impossible. Many of my clients struggle to make that leap, and I get it. But human aid can only go so far. We've heard from many of the freed hostages, may they all come home now, that in the tunnels, in the suffocating, dank darkness, they found God. In that place of utter helplessness where no human plan could save them, they reached for something greater and found an anchor. That's Yira. That's why I often use expansion brain spotting to help clients tap in to their inner anchor, the place inside every person that knows connection, that can hold steady even in chaos. For some, that anchor is already their relationship with God. For others, it's the spark inside that can grow into one. And once again, the Torah is revealed in neuroscience. Studies show that awe quiets the amygdala, expands perspective, and shifts us from self focus to connection. Fear shuts us down, awe opens us up. So, what is our ParshaRx for this week? Step on the gas. Let love draw you toward God through gratitude and connection in nature. Step on the brake. pause to stand in awe, remembering that God sees the whole picture even when you can't. Because awe isn't the opposite of love, it's what makes love whole. From Denver, Colorado, Shabbat Shalom.